No, it's not so much embrace because actually the English people are very.
Tina Turner Heartbreak. Why singer never hated abusive ex-husband Ike Turner.
I can't explain you. It's like finding your place, you know.
Tina Turner, despite going through traumatic and abusive marriage with Ike Turner, never hated her ex-husband. From being friends, Tina and Ike grew together as musicians by collaborating on several songs. While doing so, they fell in love with each other and soon tied the knot, following the release of their 1961 debut album. Throughout the 16 years of marriage, however, Tina endured an abusive relationship with Ike. Despite that, the singer revealed before her death how she never hated him. Why Tina Turner did not hate Ike Turner over past abusive marriage. Turner spent the last 40 years of her life with her loving husband, Erwin Bach, who also extended her life by giving her his kidney. She got the chance to do what she wanted with her music after divorcing Ike. Before her death, she released Happiness Becomes You and sat for an interview with The Guardian, during which she promoted her new book. Elsewhere in the discussion, she explained why she decided to move on happily and not feel any hate toward Ike after all that happened. According to the singer, people usually resent situations and people, but things were different on her part. I've always felt the most important thing isn't what happens to us. It's how we choose to respond, she said, as quoted by Cheat Sheet. I release negative feelings by taking to heart the importance of forgiveness and self-reflection, rather than blame. That's how I broke the cycles of negativity in my life. The Better Be Good to Be singer added that she established her mission to end the cycles of abuse she suffered from throughout her childhood, until she married and divorced Ike. She also credited her spiritual foundation as something that helped her to start all over again. When did Ike Turner's abuse start? In a report by W Magazine, it cited one instance when Turner described how Ike's abuse felt like. She wrote in her book that the abusive marriage began when Ike allegedly demanded Tina change her name, something she did not approve of. The singer recalled how her then-husband initially became verbally abusive, before it became physical and emotional. In the years thereafter, Turner would always suffer from physical abuse. How Tina Turner broke the silence on domestic abuse. When Tina Turner first spoke out about the violence she endured during her marriage to Ike Turner, it was an act of bravery to expose herself so publicly. I was insanely afraid of that man, she told People magazine in 1981. Revealing the painful reality behind the hugely successful musical duo. I was afraid to put it out, talk about the abuse because of what I would get from Ike, she told journalist Carl Arrington. Ike Turner, who died in 2007, always denied his ex-wife's claims that he abused her, and expressed frustration that he had been demonized in the media. The couple met when Tina was just 17, after she saw his group Kings of Rhythm perform, and asked him to hear her sing. Not surprisingly, he spotted her star quality, making her his lead singer, choosing her stage name and lavishing her with clothes and jewelry. They married in 1962, and Tina, who had already experienced the pain of being rejected as a child by her mother, promised Ike she wouldn't leave him, something she later came to regret. I felt obligated to stay there and I was afraid, she told Arrington. I didn't want to hurt him. I was sitting there all bruised and torn, and all of a sudden I'm feeling sorry for him. Maybe I was brainwashed. But by 1978, after a string of hits including River Deep, Mountain High, Tina decided she felt able to leave Ike. She could no longer put up with the torture of being married to him, and the impact it had on their 4 sons. I was living a life of death. I didn't exist, she said, but I survived it. And when I walked out, I walked, and I didn't look back. Tina moved away and had to rebuild her career, making money by singing in Las Vegas and appearing on various TV shows. She decided to tell all in the 1981 interview to expel some of the ghosts from her past. In Daniel Lindsay and T.J. Martin's 2021 documentary Tina, the singer said she was so nervous about doing the interview that she asked her psychic if it would ruin her career. She said, "No, Tina," the singer recalled. "It's going to do just the opposite. It's going to break everything wide open." Dr. Lenore E. Walker, director of the U.S.-based Domestic Violence Institute, which provides support for victims of domestic abuse, thinks Tina's decision to speak out was hugely important. In 1981, we were just learning about the extent of domestic violence in homes, she tells the BBC. It was often thought to be only poor women without resources who were abused. When Tina Turner spoke out about her life, it brought awareness to the fact that domestic violence was everywhere. She says Tina helped give credence to other women daring to speak out about abuse. Women were not believed when they spoke out about domestic violence. So when Tina Turner, a well-respected and famous singer, spoke out. It gave other women the courage to do so. Also, she explains, we needed influencers such as Tina Turner to speak out about domestic violence, so that my work on battered woman syndrome was introduced in the courts, and juries began to believe women acted to protect themselves and their children. Dr. Walker says the weight carried by Tina's words carries through to today. It is still important to hear her voice to understand how difficult it is for a woman to be able to terminate a battering relationship without getting hurt worse or killed, she says. The real question is, why don't these men let women go? Broadcaster and sexual abuse survivor Oprah Winfrey also talks in the documentary of the importance of women speaking out in the 80s. Nobody talked about sexual abuse, physical abuse, domestic abuse, period. Our generation is the generation that started to break the silence. What Tina didn't realize, though, was that her explosive revelations would follow her round as her career took off again, with hits including Let's Stay Together, What's Love Got to Do with It, and Private Dancer. By 1986, she published an autobiography, Tina, co-written with Kurt Loder, to get the journalists off my back. She thought if they had all the answers from her book, they would stop asking her endless questions, taking her back to such an unhappy period in her life. But it didn't work. Interviewers repeatedly asked her to relive her memories, with BuzzFeed noting in 2021, Tina Turner deserved so much better from the media, and here are 14 moments that prove it. The article highlighted moments including a 1993 interview with Australia's Nine Network, in which she was played a pre-recorded interview with Ike, who responded to a question about beating her. Her dignified, calm response said it all. I don't want to start an argument with Ike Turner via satellite. I have nothing to say. Tina's career continued to grow, and her story carried on being told. And in the 1993 film What's Love Got to Do with It, adapted from the book Tina, she was played by Angela Bassett. By 2005, Winfrey, a huge Tina Turner fan, recalled meeting a woman who was inspired by the singer to leave an abusive relationship. Winfrey wrote, when Tina Turner's Wildest Dreams tour stopped in Houston back in 1997, I stood, let me tell you seldom sit at a Tina performance, next to a woman whose story I'll never forget. I came because I was looking for the courage to leave the man who beats me, she said. Tonight I found that courage. Winfrey has paid tribute to Tina, saying, her life became a clarion call for triumph. The singer often credited her Buddhist faith, which she found in the 70s, with helping her find the courage to leave Ike Turner. She said chanting helped give her clarity. I started seeing my life, I started really seeing that I had to make a change, she said in the documentary. By 2018, the singer decided to bring out a new autobiography, My Love Story, where she also talked about finding love with actor and producer Erwin Bach, and how she coped with the suicide of her son Craig. A jukebox stage show about her life also opened in London that year, and the singer said at the time, when I look and see it done so well, I feel proud. In 2021, Tina was inducted on her own into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, having previously been inducted with Ike in 1991. Bassett made the speech to commemorate it, saying, what a life Tina has led. Her story has become a film, a documentary, a blockbuster Broadway show, and a best-selling autobiography. What brings us here tonight is Tina's journey to independence. For Tina, hope triumphed over hate, faith won over fear, and ambition eclipsed adversity. In April, the singer's story went full circle when Tina the Tina Turner musical partnered with Women's Aid for its 5th anniversary, ahead of Women's Aid's 50th anniversary. Farah Nazir, chief executive at Women's Aid, said, it is wonderful to have the story of such a powerful and influential woman supporting our mission. Tina is an inspiration. Her story shows the strength of survivors, and that there is hope for women experiencing abuse. Currently, there is both freedom and happiness after abuse.